Hey there, I'm Lee Rowley, and this is Lee After Dark. Why? Because there's more to being a business leader than just business. Each week, one brave entrepreneur injects the elevator pitch and tells us about, well, whatever they want to talk about. Today, I have with me my friend, Breindy. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you. Now, Brady, the rules are simple. For the next 20 minutes, we can discuss anything you want except business. If you're successful, you'll have 5 minutes afterward to pitch your business, tell us about your offer, how to get in touch with you, whatever you want to do. But during the interview, each time you slip up and talk about business, it's a 1 minute penalty.
Okay.
So yeah, we like to keep it suspenseful, right?
Yeah, bring it on. I'm ready.
Well, very cool. Are you ready to go? I'm going to start the timer here. And what are we getting into for the next 20 minutes?
I don't know. What do you think? What should we do for that?
What do we say?
You didn't send me the link for this call until
okay, so you're going to, okay. Until 2 minutes, yes. Okay. Well, we'll start with that, and I'm going to use every excuse in the book to try to mitigate the damage here. But I had this nagging feeling that there was something that I forgot to do this morning. And mind you, my morning started at approximately 3 a.m. when the cat started doing this on my chest, and so I finally figured out what that thing was I didn't send everybody today the link for the call. So I've blown it already. So
I was sitting here waiting and waiting. 10:30 comes and I'm like, what's going on here? You're not interested in talking to me.
Oh, yeah, I get shady like that every once in a while. But, I don't claim to be perfect. So that's always my out is, I can just fall back on, what are you going to do? It's just Lee.
Okay, I forgive you. We could start over now.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now that we've got that out of the way and back in your good graces, so where do we want to start? You've got
let's start with number 2.
Number 2, okay.
I don't remember what it was.
You don't remember what? Just start with number 2. Whatever. You just pick the number at random. Okay.
Yeah.
How I come up with my crazy posts.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's all right. Let's start there.
Okay. So, honestly, the answer is I don't know. It just comes to me. I have a crazy brain, and I just sit down and with my phone or my computer, whatever it is, and I just start typing. And sometimes I'll start with one thing and something else will come out. Or sometimes I'll start with something and it turns into like craziness. So, I don't know what's going on in there, but it ends up coming out and people like it.
Well, there's a lot of posturing online. For me in my industry, it's always about perfection and looking more professional and having better polish and going and getting the 4K video like that matters if you're watching it on your phone on Facebook, right? But trying to get to this level of perfection that's just people can't relate to.
Yeah. I'm very real. I'm very honest. I'm very open. And that brings, like, if you've read my posts, especially recently, I talk about mental health and my experience and what I've been going through lately. I'm very honest. I'm very open. I'm very real. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. And so that's what I try to put in my posts instead of putting all that, oh, everything's great and I made $10,000 this week alone. And, oh, look, I'm great at marketing. No, forget it. Like, I don't want to hear that. I want to see the real stuff, and that's how I am. I'm honest always.
Absolutely. And I think people find that refreshing and maybe in some degree empowering. Has it been your experience that you tend to attract people who are like, wow, I wish I could be like that. I wish that I could let down the filters and just be more who I am.
Yeah, so I've gotten messages from a couple of individuals who some tell me like, listen, thank you so much. I'm going through something similar, but I don't have the courage to speak up, and it's nice to know I'm not alone. Then I get the people who are like, wow, I use LinkedIn for business only. And to see that on there is just like, wow, you're so brave to put that out there. And even though I'm going through it, I don't want to put it out there. I have to be professional, and I don't want to like put my personal life out there.
Mm-hmm.
So like those two types of people, like to, they message me and they're like, thank you. I'm very, very passionate about mental health awareness, and treatment. I've been suffering myself since I was a teenager from depression. And at this point, it's over half my life. So I've been through it all. And I have family members who also struggle with other mental health issues and, conditions. So I've seen a lot, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. Um, in in the Jewish community, in the Orthodox community, it's something that people don't talk about for fear of being shunned or not getting a shidduch, a match when it's time to get married.
Mm.
It's a big thing in our community. We get married young, and we usually get set up by a matchmaker. So if somebody has a mental health past, something that they went through, or they're on medication, they don't want anyone to know because it can tarnish their image and nobody will recommend them. So it's a big problem. And there are a lot of divorces that take place because after marriage, the spouse finds out that the person they married is on medication or is not really who they thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
So I was open with when I was dating my ex-husband, I was open with him, and it's not why we got divorced. It had nothing to do with mental health issues because he was aware of it and that wasn't a problem. So, and same thing with my other family members who had issues, very open and honest. We tell everybody, we don't want to hide anything. So that's why I'm open about it in public. I'm not scared. Yes, now I'm again in the dating scene and I want to get remarried, but I'm not scared. And if somebody doesn't want to get to know me or date me or marry me because of my issues, my mental health problems, then that's their problem, not mine.
Mm-hmm. That absolutely is true. Absolutely true. And that's fantastic that you're willing to speak up about that, because there are so many people who don't have that strength, because for one reason or another. And just hearing someone else validate their feelings and validate what they're going through, can be all the difference, because, I don't think, especially when there's, and, I will openly admit that I'm bipolar too. So, I function pretty well, but, behind the scenes, there's a lot of things that, you don't see. But it's a huge challenge, to feel isolated, and once you don't feel so isolated, then, like I say, it's not that the suffering's gone, but that you, I think, become more able to manage it.
Yeah. I was actually telling somebody that yesterday. They, complimented me on my post that I posted the other day about mental health and what I'm going through now. And they said, wow, that was amazing. And I said, but you know what? It didn't help me. Like, I still feel crappy. But it does. But then I woke up the next day today and I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling a little better. So it doesn't take away the pain. Definitely not.
Mm-mm.
But it helps a little bit to know that people hear me. And, some people are going through the same thing. So I'm not really alone, even though I feel very alone.
You're far from alone. And I would say that there are people who hear you that maybe don't speak out, or they don't click like, or they don't, comment or reach out for whatever, just for fear of someone seeing their name, associated with it. I mean, I've seen that happen. But there are those people who are watching and listening from the sidelines, and you don't even know they're there, but you're impacting their lives. So it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't think about that very often.
Well, yeah, That's true. And, when you're in the moment, it's good not to, because then it becomes more about a performance than what you really want to do, which is just be real.
Right. I was telling someone else, I just realized how much I have gained so many relationships through LinkedIn, but somebody else I was telling that I use LinkedIn as a therapy for myself, because, and I'm not trying to bring business in here. Believe me, this is just one sentence and you'll see I'm not bringing business, but I'm not focusing on my business in general right now. That's the only sentence, okay?
All right.
And so for me, I'm not using LinkedIn for that right now. I'm using it for myself. And I can use my writing and my thoughts to just get my feelings out there. And then I have it and it's there and I could always go back and look at it and see where I've come from. It's another thing I like about it. So people tell me I'm making an impact on them, but for me, it's actually for me. I'm doing it for myself.
Absolutely. You're relating your own experiences, and like you say, if you're connecting with others who have similar experiences, then again, yeah, that makes it easier for you to work alongside it as well. And I say work alongside because it never really goes away. We just learn to function with it.
Exactly.
To the best of our abilities and when we can.
Yeah.
And that's a huge challenge to get to that point where you can be okay enough with yourself to allow that room and that space, to just be like, okay, this is what it is, and I'm just working alongside it.
Yeah. For me, it's been so long. I don't even know who I would be if I wasn't a person struggling with depression. Meaning, I was diagnosed so young. I was a teenager. I don't even remember half of it. So to think, who am I, is like, no, this is me, because I've always been this way. And that's also something I've struggled with. Like, who am I? Like, am I just going to be this depressed person my whole life? No, I want to be happy. And I guess my real self comes out when I'm posting. I'm a funny, outgoing person, and that's who I am inside. Even though I may not feel that way, that's what comes out, and that's it's sort of a therapy, like, oh, there I am.
That's really cool, and I can certainly relate to that. I tend to use humor in my writing as kind of that outlet and kind of that reframing of what actually goes on underneath the skin. So I mean, it's to me, I've never been a big fan of just going online and just being like, oh, poor pitiful me, and life is so awful, and things like that. But it informs a lot of the humor that I use. So, and it's probably the same case for you, I would suspect.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my family is crazy, in a good way, and we use humor all the time. And my parents themselves, they could be fighting, and then all of a sudden one of them cracks a joke, they start laughing, and then the fight is over. I mean, they still argue about what they want to argue about, but I've seen humor as something it helps in so many different aspects of life and different things. And so humor is like, I was born with it. And that's the way, I am. So we can use it as an outlet, and people use it to cover up their true emotions. I mean, I've seen that many times, but for me, it's not just covering emotions. It's who I am. Come to my house, you'll see we're cracking jokes, we're laughing all the time. Your cheeks are gonna hurt.
I can imagine. Yeah. So, yes, I'm imagining a house full of people with your energy and personality that behind it, and in just different ways, just going crazy. It sounds like wonderful chaos.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm the only child left at home.
Okay.
I live with my parents now that I'm divorced, so with my daughter.
Mhm.
But when we all get together, like over the holidays, we just had some holidays last month. We were all together, and it was nuts. I mean, my cheeks were hurting myself because I was laughing so much. So,
Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely.
can I tell you a joke,
Yeah, no, I
please?
charge for. All right.
Okay, so I can't post this, and you'll hear why. Okay, it's not so bad. It's just something. Okay, so there was a man on a helicopter, and he had three grenades with him, and he's flying over this little town, and he drops one grenade. He sees it, and he doesn't see anything blow up. He drops another grenade and doesn't see anything. Um, and then he drops the third one, and he sees a big explosion. Um, and so then he lands his helicopter and starts walking through the town. And he comes to a man crying over a little boy. And, the man's crying hysterically. And he goes, "What's wrong?" He said, "Oh, I was playing ball with my son, and out of nowhere, a grenade came and it hit him, and he's dead, and whatever, he's my only son." And so the man said, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. My condolences." And he continues to walk, along. And about 100 feet away, there's a woman crying over a man. And what's wrong? What's wrong? "Oh, I was walking with my husband, and out of nowhere, this thing came and hit him in the head, and now he's gone. I don't know what to do. I lost my husband." And he says, "Oh, my condolences. I'm so sorry to hear that." And then he walks another 100 feet, and he comes to a man hysterically laughing, like laughing so hard he almost couldn't breathe. And he says to him, "What? What's so funny? What happened?" He goes, "I farted, and the building behind me blew up." Come on.
Arg. Wheaton. This is what I feel like right now, man.
Come on.
Oh,
Funny.
oh, thank you so much. That was hysterically anticlimactic.
Oh, really? You didn't like that one?
I said it was hysterically anticlimactic.
Okay. I have to try better next time.
Yeah, on the inside, that was mean, was what that was, and I have a feeling it was intentionally mean.
Yeah, that's the point. I did
I
mess
know,
it
and
up.
that's why I make it funny. What?
Yeah, I messed it up a little bit. I realized, but it's fine. It's okay.
It's like, a man walks into a bar. He says, "Ouch."
Okay, that's stupid though.
Wait a minute.
I
But
walk into
what
a bar and
redeeming
I say,
plot point did your joke have that mine didn't? Mine was just shorter.
but because I walk. Okay, forget it. I don't know. I'm not arguing.
You kind of are. Okay. Before this devolves into like, I'm pretty sure you could probably knock me out. So I'm gonna just how come up with a thing? Anything else you think of? LinkedIn tips. Nothing to do with my business, by the way. And you've got 2 minutes and 15 seconds.
Oh boy. Um, LinkedIn tips. I don't know. What tips do I have? I think Monty Clark has been posting 10 tips for 10 days. Today was his last day. He gave some really amazing LinkedIn engagement tips. And today he did the don'ts. The last day was don't do this. And there were a lot of things on there that were like, yes, go for it, 100%. I added a couple in the comments, but there's some things that like you just don't, like you can't put in a post. Like this morning, I got a connection request, hit connect. Within a minute, I get the message. It wasn't a pitch. It was actually a nice good morning message, and this is what I do, and I see that you're in this business, and it's nice to connect with you. And he wasn't asking me for anything, wasn't trying to pitch me his services. Very nice, but he sent 3 like pictures. Okay. Good morning. Have a blessed day. All this, whatever. And I said, okay, thank you very much. Nice to connect with you, whatever. He sends more pictures. I'm like, okay, thank you. And then, yeah. And then he sent more pictures. And I'm like, no, what? Why? Like, you already said good morning. You already said have a blessed day. You already said nice to connect with you. Why do you have to send me all these pictures? Like, now they're going to save to my phone. What? Why? You know?
Yeah, that makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah. But he also endorsed me for every single skill that I have listed. So, whatever.
I guess people with too much time on their hands. I don't know. I don't get it, but I'm assuming that's a don't.
Yeah.
Don't send people pictures of. Hey, you don't have to say what he was sending pictures of. I don't.
No, it was nice stuff. It was like
Okay.
a picture of flowers, a picture of a rainbow, a picture of like wishing you a wonderful weekend. Nice
Okay.
thing.
Well. Okay.
Nothing inappropriate.
Cool.
But it was just like, why? Just send one. You don't have to send 20.
Do you have any idea how old he was? People older than I am tend to do that more.
He probably is older than me.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much.
Like that. Like my mom does that.
Oh, okay.
I
So
mean, not on LinkedIn, but I get the barrage of like little stupid sticker, puppies and stuff in my Facebook Messenger occasionally.
uh-huh. So you're saying I have pity on him because he's old.
Well, does it require pity, or does he just require okay, that's just who he is?
It was a joke. Did you see my smile?
Did I
I
see what?
smiled when I said it. I said, should I pity on him? Like, as a joke.
Okay, so I missed one. All right. Jeez.
I'm very sarcastic.
Yeah. No. Really.
No, I'm not actually. No, I'm not sarcastic at all.
I've never have guessed. But you know what? We have successfully completed the non-business portion of the Lee After Dark 20-minute challenge. Yay! And confetti and everything. Woo! Yeah. I'm going to have to get like one of those well, I've got my soundboard set up. I just want it connected with like the angels, sort of thing. I need to get that going. But I've been doing lots of podcasts, so I haven't had time. Well, anyway, so now it's time. You got 5 minutes if you want to talk about your business, tell people how to get in touch with you, whatever you want. You can make fun of me too. That's whatever. Floor's yours.
I would never make fun of you. But what do I do? I'm a project funding specialist. You can call me a loan consultant, a loan broker. I don't prefer the word broker because you have to be licensed to do that, and I'm not. So I use the word consultant or project funding specialist. And my job is to connect people who need the money to the people who have the money. It's a very simple way to say it, but I only deal with project financing. Projects are not a term loan for personal use. It is not a line of credit for real estate investors. It's not a merchant cash advance. It's not those small business loans. Project funding is when somebody has a multi-million or even billion-dollar project that they want to complete. It could be building a apartment complex. It could be building a resort. It could be a factory to produce clothing. Who knows? Any huge project or business venture that needs money. And they don't want to go to an equipment financing person for the equipment. And they don't want to go to a real estate person for the real estate finance part of it. They want to put it all together. So they come to a project funding specialist. So it's equipment, construction, even land acquisition could be part of it. Working capital, salaries, wages, everything bundled into one. They give a pitch deck, a project summary, and then I look it over. And if I feel that it's legitimate and it makes sense, I will present it to the investors in my network who will tell me if they're interested. And we go from there. I'm the middleman. Usually don't exchange information between the investor and the client until a later point when they're moving forward to funding. Everything goes through me. like I'm a funding matchmaker.
Very
Um,
nice.
yeah. So the best way to get in touch with me is either through LinkedIn or emailing me at Breindy at brguestfunding.com. B, the letter B, R, the letter R, guest, GUEST, FUNDING.com. But, and I'm just going to make this statement, I'm not accepting new clients until 2020. So you can definitely reach out to me and tell me your ideas, send me your summaries, but I will not give you the attention you need to get the funding. Just there's a lot of personal things going on in my life, and I just have to take a break. So not until 2020.
Good to know. Well, she's obviously, Brenda, you're an excellent connection to have. And so, I'd connect with her on LinkedIn anyway and just follow her, and enjoy her posts. So we met at like, 10 o'clock? I don't know. Maybe it was after midnight or something last night. So, I haven't really had a chance to immerse in the Breindy world, but, I'm getting a sense that it's a pretty entertaining place to be.
Yeah, you are in for a treat.
Absolutely. Well, I have very much enjoyed talking with you. Thank you very much for coming on the show with me today, and I've enjoyed learning about you.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed speaking with you as well.
Well, thank you. Well, we are out of time. If you found Lee After Dark more entertaining and relevant than most of the dreck out there, give our hosts over at IPMNation.com some love or subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, iTunes, and wherever the heck else this show ends up. This is Lee Rowley with my good friend Breindy. Until next time, be present and be well.